Two men are found dead looking for Sasquatch down around Mount Rainier, but their deaths leave more questions than answers. That and UFO or drone updates coming up next on Encounters USA. Hello everyone, welcome to Encounters USA. Today is the second day of the year 2025, and we exited 2024 with a lot of excitement as the UFOs appear to be all over the place now, and it appears that the aliens have said, we're just going to go ahead and disclose ourselves. So while that is going on Christmas Day of 2024, two men went out looking for Sasquatch. These men were from Oregon. Now, this kind of hits home for me because at Encounters USA, that's what I do. I go out and I look for Sasquatch. I look for aliens, and I look for evidence of Dogman. So when this caught my eye during the Christmas season, I said, wait a minute, what's going on here? And sure enough, when you look into the details, which we're going to do right now, things look really suspicious because there's really not a lot of information. But anyway, let's take a look at this article from Explorer's Web. Two dead in Sasquatch hunt gone wrong. A pair of Portland, Oregon men who set out on Christmas Eve to look for the legendary Sasquatch have been found deceased after days of searching. The two men, whose names have not been made public, were 59 and 37. Searchers found their bodies in Gifford Pinchot National Forest, a densely wooded and mountainous 500,000-hectare wilderness. The Skamania County Sheriff's Office believes that they died of exposure. The weather was frequently stormy and below freezing, and the men had been ill-prepared to face those conditions for long. Stormy weather also delayed the search effort. According to the sheriff's office, the volunteers had to contend with freezing temperatures, snow, high water levels, heavy rain, and heavily wooded terrain. The men were reported missing around 1 a.m. on Christmas morning when they failed to return on the 24th as expected. Traffic camera footage identified their vehicle, which had been abandoned in a rural, wooded area. From there, a search began. The 3-day-long search involved dogs, drones, a borrowed Coast Guard helicopter, and over 60 volunteers. Several local government organizations also helped. In the end, the men were found too late. The family members who reported the men missing told authorities they had been looking for Sasquatch. So, very interesting, but not only is that interesting, but another article goes on and tells how the rescue team's gear stolen hours after finding men who died Sasquatch hunting. This is from KOIN in Portland, Oregon. The Skamania County Sheriff's Office and search and rescue team spent 3 days searching for the missing Portland men who tragically died while looking for Sasquatch in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest on Christmas. Hours after the exhaustive search was over, nearly all of the team's rescue equipment was stolen. Skamania County Sheriff's Office and Search and Rescue is now looking for public donations on GoFundMe and Facebook to help restock the vital supplies, which have been used to save multiple lives within the past few months. As of late Monday afternoon, the Search and Rescue organization has raised nearly $25,000 to restock its supplies. While we're proudly affiliated with the Skamania County Sheriff's Office, our Search and Rescue organization is completely independent nonprofit. The rescue team wrote on its GoFundMe page, "We received no funding from federal, state, or local governments. Every piece of equipment, every training, and every mission is made possible by generous donation from supporters like you. All of our rescuers are 100% volunteers with no paid staff." The theft occurred on the same night the search for the missing Sasquatch hunters' bodies were recovered from the forest, the rescue team said. The thieves cut through fencing, broke into the team's storage trailer, and made off with nearly every piece of equipment inside. On the evening of the final night of the mission, while our fatigued volunteers were finally resting at home, thieves broke into our storage yard, Skamania County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue said. They cut through a 10-foot barbed wire fence and stole nearly everything not bolted down from our equipment trailers. All right, everybody. Well, that is the gist of the two stories from two different news sources. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is that these two men decided to go out hunting for Bigfoot, and they were very ill prepared. Now, where this hits close to home for me is that at Encounters USA, going out and looking for Bigfoot, aliens, or dogman is what I do. I spend time in the field. I camp. I go out. A lot of times I'm alone, and so this really hits home to me. And the thing that first of all hits home is that these people were from Portland, and I don't know what their history is with the outdoors or whatever, but that is one thing that most people who live in the Northwest would know, that the weather changes here very quickly. And if these guys were seriously out looking for Bigfoot and they died of exposure because they weren't prepared, that really raises a red flag. Because unless they were under the influence of something that it really seriously impaired their judgment, nobody that lives here, especially even in Portland, Oregon, is how those people are, but even they would know that you're not going to go out into the mountain areas without adequate clothing. And I know it gets cold here, and I know that there was we did have some inclement weather, but I don't know that inclement weather was enough to actually kill these people. And so it's it's really kind of suspicious. And then add to all that somebody broke in and stole these people's equipment. Who broke in? How did they get through a 10-foot high fence? They said they cut through it. Well, okay, so here's a crazy theory, all right? So let's say that these guys were experienced enough to know that they knew what they were dealing with, and that they died of circumstances that had nothing to do with being exposed to something, but maybe they actually found what they were looking for. And maybe that thing that they found, maybe it got upset. I don't know. Who would break in and steal all of these people's equipment and whatever? And what would be their motivation to do something like that? So that is, it really leaves a seriously questionable mark on the whole situation. There have been no autopsy reports yet. There's been nothing coming back saying that these people actually died of exposure. So one theory I think, is that these people said, yeah, we're going to go out and we're going to look for Bigfoot, joking around, whatever. And maybe they went out to the wrong place and maybe they found what they were looking for. So 2 guys dying, not really, very old, and dying of exposure in a place where they probably would have known to be a little bit more prepared. So things are really iffy now, and the fact that there is no more news, there are no more details. The latest story from this came out in Anchorage, and it's just the same story. That came out 2 days ago, but there are no further updates from the local news networks. So that's something that really ought to be at least looked at by people who are interested in the Bigfoot question, and especially people who are interested, like me, in going out and actually finding evidence of these things and possibly trying to communicate with them and ask them what is the story, and see if they can somehow explain what's going on with them and possibly other things. So if you want to look into some of the stuff that I've done, of course there's my documentary series, Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery, and you can also see my newest documentary is coming out. It's called ECETI Ranch Stargate, The Portal Opens, and that's where I went down to ECETI Ranch, which is another hotbed of Bigfoot and which is right on the border of where these men disappeared in Skamania County. So this is all interconnected, and I want you to, understand that if you really want to understand what's going on here, check out the Cascade Bigfoot Blood Mystery and check out the ECETI Ranch movie that's coming out very soon, because it explains everything about the connections between Bigfoot, the connections between aliens, and the connections between them and the connections with us. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching today, and I was going to give you an update on the drones in New Jersey, but there are so many videos out now and the drones are going to continue. I will give you a little bit of an update in my next video, which I actually went down to the Washington State coast in order to see if I could get footage of any drones on the coast. So I've got another video coming up that you can check out about the drones, about the drone situation. But for right now, I'm going to say thanks for watching, and remember, if you are out in Skamania County or anywhere looking for Bigfoot, aliens, or Dogman, always watch your back.